myself Shweta Shah, and I am your instructor for the subject microprocessor and microcontroller. In this subject, we have started Unit 2, that is Architecture of Microprocessor 8085 and Microcontroller 805. In this session, we are going to see further today, that is memory interfacing. Okay, so let me first see what are the outlines for this session. These are like, first we will see the basic concept in memory interfacing with microprocessor 8085. Then we will see the requirements, memory interfacing requirements, and then we will see the address decoding technique. There are total 2 techniques for this address decoding that we will see in next. So let me first see the basic concept in memory interfacing with 8085. So for interfacing memory device to the microprocessor 8085, these following points are required. We have to keep in mind. These are like, first thing is the microprocessor 8085 can access 64 kilobyte of memory since it has address lines of 16 bit. Okay, so it has address lines of 16 bits, so you can total have address like 2 raised to 16, and that is 64k. Okay, so you have total 64k locations to address. Okay, but it is not necessary to use full 64 kilobytes of address space. This total memory size will depend upon the application. For example, you may require only 1 kilobyte or only 4 kilobyte, so you will use according to requirement. Generally, EEPROM is used for the program memory, where you are storing your program, and RAM is used as a storing data memory. When both EEPROM and RAM both are used, the total address space of 64 kilobyte is shared by both of this. It is shared by RAM as well as EEPROM. Okay, so we have only one address space that is of 64 kilobyte, and that you have to share with each and every memory chip you have used. Okay, and this the capacity of program memory and data memory depends upon the application, which application we are using. For example, you require 1 kilobyte of RAM, and if your program is larger, then you will require 2 kilobyte of EEPROM to store your program. So that is the possibility, and that will depend upon your application. And next thing we have to keep in mind is that it is not necessary to select only one EEPROM and one RAM. We can have multiple EEPROMs and multiple RAMs as per our requirement. Okay, and we can place EEPROM or RAM anywhere in full 64 kilobyte address space. But the program memory, or you can say EEPROM, that should be located from the address 000 hex, because our reset address of 8085 microprocessor is of 0000 hex. Okay, whenever we are pressing the reset pin, the execution will start from this 0th location. Okay, so we have to start EEPROM from this 0th location, 0th address. Okay, and it is not always necessary to locate EEPROM and RAM in consecutive manner. For example, if we consider the mapping of EEPROM and the address ranges of 000 hex to 0FFF hex, and then its possible address is like 1000, but it not require that you must start next memory. For example, if it is the RAM, then you must require to start with 1000. That is not necessary. Okay, so you can start from anywhere between 1000 to FFFF hex, but it will require to have 12 address lines to be seen if your size is of 4 kilobyte. If your size is of 1 kilobyte, then you require the 10 lines to be 0 at the starting location. Okay, so according to that requirement fulfillment, you can use any address for starting. Okay, and according to that size of memory, you will get the ending address. So we can consider it like this. So these are the basic concepts that we have to keep in mind whenever we are interfacing memory with 8085. So this is the basic structure of the RAM and ROM. RAM is read and write memory or random access memory, and ROM means read-only memory. Here first let me see RAM or read and write memory, where you will have 2 control signals. That is, one is for writing the data, another is for reading the data. Okay, and that are having with input buffers and output buffer. This reading and writing are used to activate this buffer. Okay, then we have one extra control, that is the chip select. Why we are using chip select? Because in our system there is possibility that we have used more than one chip. Okay, so at that time you have to select a particular chip for that address. Okay, so for this reason we are using this chip select, and that is also active low. Here write bar, WR bar, read bar, that is active low. That means to activate this chip I have to provide 0 over here. Okay, and then here there is the internal decoder that will decode your address. Okay, for example, if we consider that this is our memory of 2 kilobyte, that is 2048 cross 8, that is it has a total 2048 location and each location is containing 8 bits. Okay, so memory size will be 2 kilobyte. Here this is the input data and this is the output data. So if I want to read or write data into this 2 kilobyte memory, then I have to provide the address at which location I want to read the data or at which location I want to write the data. Okay, so that address I will provide on this address bus, data will be provided on this bus. Whenever I want to write the data and whenever I want to read the data will be available on the output data bus. Okay, so the task of this decoder is to decode the address. Here my memory size is of 2 kilobyte. That means I will have address line of 11 bit. That is, if I am starting from A0, so the ending line will be A10, A0, A1, A2, A3 up to A10. I will require total 11 lines to address each and every location, that is 2048 locations inside this memory. Okay, so I will provide one particular address over here and data over here if I want to write the data, and I will provide address over here and read the data from that location, and I will get the data on this bus, output bus. Okay, so the address decoder will decode this address, this 11-bit address, and selects the particular location which is your actual address. Okay, and that location is selected, and according to requirement, according to control signal, your data is written or read it. Okay, so this is the basic thing which we are doing with the random access memory or RAM memory. If we considering read only memory, then all of other things are same, like we will require chip select signal, we require to provide the address on the address bus, and that address is required to be decoded. But here we can only read the data. Okay, so no control for writing and no control for input of data. Okay, so here only we have output buffer with the read control. You will provide address over here. According to that address, particular location is selected, and whenever it gets the read control signal, it will read that data from that location and provides on the output bus. Okay, so this is the basic RAM and ROM. Okay, here the size of memory is like M cross N. Here that is 2048 cross 8. Okay, so we can write it like this. Here N is the number of resistor and M is the length of each and every resistor. Here the size is 4096 cross 8. That means size is of 4 kilobyte. And to address the 4K location, I will require 12 lines. So here my address lines are of 12 bit, that is A0, A2, A1, A2 up to A11, because my size of memory is 4 kilobyte. So if there is the size of memory is of 8 kilobytes, so my address line will be 30. Okay, that we have seen in that last session, the table. Okay, so according to that requirement, according to the size of the memory, you will require some number of address lines. Okay, data lines will be fixed, that we are going to using 8 bit, because the data line of processor is also of 8 bit. Okay, so in basically memory interfacing, it requires 3 things. First thing is this selecting the chip, second thing is identifying the resistor, and third thing is enable the appropriate buffer, that is your output buffer or input buffer. So here first thing, that is enabling chip, that it can be performed by this chip select. Okay, first thing. Second thing, identifying the location, that means at which address your data is stored or data is going to be stored, that you have to provide on this address bus. So second task is going to be performed by this address bus, where you are providing the address. And third thing is the activating the buffer, that is whether you have to write the data or read the data. If you have to write the data, then activate the input buffer, and if you have to read the data, then activate the output buffer. Okay, so these three things are basically required for selecting the chip, second identifying the resistor, and third is enabling the appropriate buffer. Okay. And in the microprocessor system that includes the memory device and I/O device, it is important to note that the microprocessor can communicate, or you can say read or write, with only one device at a time. Okay, since data, address and control buses are common for all devices. So at a time you can communicate with only one memory device or with only one I/O device. In your system, if you are used many memory chips or many I/O devices, but at a time you can communicate with only one device. Okay, because your data, address and control buses are common. And in order to communicate with memory or I/O device, it is necessary to decode the address from the microprocessor. And due to each device, this can be accessed independently. So here we are ending our today's session. If you have any query, then you can contact me. In next session, we will see the absolute versus partial decoding.